one of the longest tenured, if not the longest tenured, actually, he is the longest tenured Ravens defensive player. Marlon, former first rounder, of course, and off to what we're used to seeing this kind of year. Really, I mean, sort of definitely a Pro Bowl, or dare I say, maybe on the cusp of an All Pro kind of year. The guy's got 5 total takeaways, 4 interceptions, which is top 5 in the league, and then of course one of the classic Marlowe punches that I feel like we haven't seen in quite a while. He got away. He did so effectively yesterday.
Well, he yanked it out. He didn't punch it.
That's
he
true.
Yanked it out. Yeah,
he did kind of yank it. Remember there was a couple years, several years ago, the peanut punch became the Marlon punch. One year, I want to say maybe that was 2019, right around there. But clearly, nevertheless, that turnover was a key shift in momentum that the Ravens were able to use to their advantage as a shot in the arm when Marlowe was able to do so. But I felt like within the last week, Sarah, we shared some audio from him in the locker room. I think we both agreed that serious Marlon, while there's so much more to his personality, serious Marlon showcases leader Marlon that maybe we don't always get to see from the outside looking in because of how goofy he is on his podcast, because of the Twitter back and his personality comes out in different ways online. But I thought this 2-minute, I don't want to call it a rant, but an open and very brutally honest conversation about where this defense is through 10 weeks was very refreshing. Listen to Marlon.
He's just different.
And I should have set it off better off the top. This is first about Jamar Chase, and then he expands on the defense as a whole.
Tired of that dude. He's just different. It's not even so much about the route he runs, whatever. It's just when he gets the ball in his hands, if you don't tackle him soon, it can get really ugly. So he's just he's a good player. You never really can count the Bengals out when he's on their team. And he can. I think he had like 200, like over 250, which is rough. Man. That's it's getting. I've kind of his wins are getting harder to enjoy based off what we're doing in the pass defense. I feel like when I was a rookie, first-year guy, second-year guy, the vets I looked up to, the standard that was there, and the pass defense, we've really lost that standard, and, I feel like that falls on me. And, we're going to keep chasing at it. We're going to keep working at it because I'm not really satisfied with what I've built in the secondary, where it's gone. I just don't think playing like this we can go far. And it's cool we're winning. It's great we're winning, but I want to go far. I want to go to the end. And what we're playing, I can't. Something's got to change. We just got to play better. I got to play better. We all got to play better. We got to play as a unit, and we're just not doing that. So it's really nothing really more to say. We got to keep working. We got to take the practice to the game. Had a great practice week. What is missing there from how we're practicing to how we're playing in the game? It's become clear that it's something I think each guy has got to look at themselves in the mirror, figure out why are you not playing how you practice something. The practice is route concept. The game, you don't do it how you practice. So it's becoming more of a mental thing, I think. But we got to get that fixed. It's not cool to win a game and you look up and the team has 300 passing every week, and it'd be different if we didn't have no guys that could play. I haven't once heard anybody say we don't have the guys, we don't have the players, we don't have the skill. We're not doing it in practice. It's clear that it's something from when we do that last preparation to the game, what is happening in that span, and we got to figure it out. So that's it's pretty simple.
Whew. So Bobby, a few things from this that I really liked. First of all, I think he's the correct messenger on this because Marlon played well. Marlon twice against the Bengals is what saved the defense and got the one stop that was needed to put the ball back into Lamar Jackson's hands. And he's also the right messenger because, as he said, when he was a rookie first-year player, like those Ravens were setting up what the standard was. And he's saying, well, now I'm the leader and I got to bring that standard. And I felt like he was trying to do that with his play. Like, Bobby, he was so physical last night, even beyond the forced fumble. Like everywhere he went, he was hitting hard. He was coming fast to the ball. I don't remember busted coverages on his end. Like he was just right there every time. The second thing, Bobby, is I feel like he's saying it in the right way, saying we have to do something where we're practicing it correctly, and then we get into the game and we're not doing it correctly. Based off of looking at, some of the film, listening to football players around the league, I don't know if he's only calling out Marcus Williams, but I'm telling you, Marcus Williams is in that group.
As he should be.
As he should be.
And that's not all that Marlon mentioned either, in terms of the labeling and some of that brutally honest, not only self-assessment. I guess that's what was so refreshing about it. He might be referring, and probably is referring, to specific guys, specific plays, specific breakdowns in his mind. He's not coming out and saying those specifically, to your point. But he also held himself accountable too. This was a self-assessment as much as it was a team assessment, which he didn't need to do. I mean, he's playing at a Pro Bowl caliber level. He also noted, and we mentioned this on the postgame show, that his unit, this defense, is the little brothers of the team. And for those of you who have been lifetime fans of the Ravens, talk about the worst full circle moment, or at least a 180 that you can ever experience when you think about what the Ravens were founded on, Sarah, and what the Ravens won their first Super Bowl on in 2000. It was the defense, and the little brothers were the other side of the ball. This is not where you want to be 24 years later, but this is where they are, and your longest tenured defensive player is making that abundantly clear.
Abundantly clear, yes. Now, again, I agree that he's calling out the whole defense, but it's in part Marcus Williams, because I want to show you some of these clips. First of all, during the game, not Al Michaels, who was it?
Kirk Herbstreit.
Kirkstreet. This is Jamar Chase's 70-yarder. I put some screen grabs over this, but I think you're going to be able to see it.
You'll see it all right.
It's like, what are we doing, Marcus Williams?
Mm-hmm. Now let's watch Marcus Williams here. And give Bengals all the credit in the world, but he gets caught up with Gesicki, and then he just kind of gets lost. I don't know the coverage, so I don't know if he needs to be back there in center field, but obviously somebody needs to be helping 21 Stevens out. That's a mismatch one-on-one in an island. He needs somebody back there to be able to help him over top. Look at Stevens running. That's why I think they gave up on the play, looking around at each other like, where was my help over top? So that time, Marcus Williams, who, by the way, was benched just a couple weeks ago.
He bit on Gesicki, for sure. Then he sees that Jamar's running free. So he goes to drop back. But, Bobby, look at this center screen grab here. Like, he's lost.
Yeah.
Where is he looking? Mm-hmm. And then, like, he's looking that way, and Jamar's about to catch this ball. I don't understand where is he? What is happening? And then before you know it, once he turns back, Jamar's gone. And I think you pointed this out last night. There was like a lack of effort at the end, which is why Jamar just sat there at the 1 yard line being like, are you guys going to make me go on the end zone?
I'm going to toy with you guys because this is what you deserve.
Yeah.
And Sarah, this is a completely separate screenshot and sequence than this, which was the 67-yarder.
Correct. Now,
and look at the angle he takes here.
It's a bad angle. It's a bad angle. And I'm going to get to Shannon Sharpe's breakdown of this. But let me just show you how PFF divided out how many yards were taken in coverage. Yeah. So they definitely, the one we just showed on the replay.
Yeah.
PFF, listen, we don't know for a fact whose assignments are what. But the Prime broadcast surely thought it was Marcus Williams. Sure looked like me that Marcus Williams should be back there. And PFF is attributing it to him too. That's why they have the 70-yarder on him.
Yeah, no question.
So they've given him three receptions in coverage for 82 yards. One of them was the 70-yarder. Mm-hmm. Okay, now the other long one that you just showed right there, this one,
Yeah.
PFF is giving to Ardarius Washington.
Okay. Is he
But
getting blocked right here by 80?
No. Ardarius Washington is down here
Oh,
on
I'm
the bottom
sorry.
of the screen
Oh,
because
no.
Ardarius had remember this was almost like a scramble then pass play because Joe Burrow was under duress again. And he's running out to the right, and then he steps up in the pocket and then gets Jamar Chase streaking across the field. Washington was there. He was just like trying to figure out what to do once, everything had broken down. And so Ardarius Washington jumped for it, dove for it, and missed. So that's why they put it on him. But in this one, it's clearly you still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other guys. And then there's Marcus Williams again doing who knows what. He's like overly aggressive. So Shannon Sharpe talked about this on Nightcap last night with Ocho Cinco, talking about guys are just not doing their jobs. And he's specifically saying the safety, which I believe he's saying Marcus Williams here. Listen to this.
And then, Ocho, they in quarters coverage. Where the hell is the safety going?
Hold on. That's the perfect play call for quarters. Is the post route because the goddamn safety sitting on the hash down low.
Don't, Ocho, you got the backside. Don't jump the crossing route. No, Ocho, the quarter's playing quarters. He got outside leverage.
Yeah.
How you go? If you playing outside leverage and I run a post, tell me how you stop it. If you playing outside leverage.
You got to stay high. Listen, I mean, for me, but they're going to occupy that safety with the number 2 and get him to come down.
If you got quarters coverage, what is your quarter? Middle coverage. That's not yours, the crossing route. That's for Roquan Smith.
Right.
Bro, what the hell are you doing? That's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
You see what happens? He got beat because he's trying to do somebody else's job. The basic cross is not your responsibility. You're not Ed Reed. First of all, you're not qualified to play that. You're not Troy Polamalu. You're not an Ed Reed.
I said that last week, right?
I had not seen that until just now. That's an indictment, Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he did. He I mean, you got to go back and watch the whole thing. I mean, this is one screen grab.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they PFF charges it to Ardarius Washington, which is correct because Ardarius Washington had him.
Mm-hmm.
But Marcus Williams was out of place to be like the deep middle guy.
Yeah. Because
according to Unk, he's jumping the route that Roquan Smith was covering. And so it's true. Yes, we already know that the linebackers in coverage weren't great. So, but then if he's trying to compensate for them, which is his point, you're trying to do somebody else's job. So now you're exposed, and this is even worse because you can live with dinking and dunking all the way down the field with the linebackers. You don't want it. You want to get it fixed, but let the coaches and the inside linebackers fix that. You still got to do your job. So now you've let up a 64-yarder here. You're literally called the safety for a reason.
Yeah.
You're the last line.
Yeah.
And you got to stay there. Unless you're Ed Reed and you know when to jump it. And right now he's not playing that way. Like just do your job.
And now the big picture question that maybe is for the coming days ahead, coming off the benching, a great tackle for loss on snap 1 against the Broncos, right? Kind of quiet the rest of the way there, but certainly nothing egregious in a 41-10 route last weekend. You then follow up that game with last night. What do you do with Marcus Williams in this lineup? Do you give an opportunity to a couple of the young guys that have mostly just been special teamers, and Bo Braid or Sanusi Kane? Have you entrusted? Do you entrust them enough? Or do you entrust them with those kind of reps at this point in the second half? Now we're in the second half.
I mean, listen, this is only answers that or questions that they can answer inside of practice. But I mean, we've talked about, like you said, there's the young guys you could try, which only they know if they're ready because they're in practice. It doesn't seem like if like you just like wipe away the faces, you say, is an undrafted rookie or a 7th rounder going to be able to step in and be better? That's conventional wisdom says no, right? It says no, like they're 10 weeks into their rookie seasons and haven't gotten any experience, so then it's do you go to, we saw what Eddie Jackson did, so that's not an answer. It was a logical answer when it happened, but then you saw how he played. So then it's okay, well, can one of the corners move over? And so had the Saints accepted Eric DeCosta's reported offer of a 3rd-round pick for Marshawn Lattimore, then it's like, oh, for sure, let's do this.
Yeah.
So then the next question is, okay, well, let's get a look at Tre'Davious White and see if he's one of the top 6 guys and maybe have him at corner and move one of the corners to safety. And by the way, just to muddy this whole thing, we all don't know when Kyle Hamilton's coming back.
Yes. And it should be noted too, and I started to think about this morning. I mentioned it on my live stream. In 2019, the in-season acquisition that really gave the defense a jolt was Marcus Peters, who at the time had the most takeaways of anybody since he entered the league, which I believe was 2015. There's nobody like Marcus joining this team. There's nobody like Roquan Smith in 2022 coming to save this team.
Mm-hmm.
As Marlon said, they're looking at themselves in the mirror. That's the only option. Tre'Davious White is joining this team, but are you willing to put that kind of, this is where I go mush, but 13 months removed from an Achilles tear, somebody that's got a lot of NFL miles under his tires, a healthy scratch over the last month because of the trade requests and poor play in Los Angeles. Are you really willing to kind of put all your stock in this guy turning the defense around? I mean, you hope that he can become a complementary piece for you, but he's not a Marcus Peters in 2019, and he's certainly not a Roquan Smith in 2022. The only thing that's going to save this defense is themselves.
Right. Like, and that's to your point, like, obviously you just name him because he's somebody that's there. Like we're naming Sanusi Kane. We're naming all these guys because they're there. Now, are any of them really hopeful? No. Marcus Williams hasn't been hopeful. So there's not so on, if it's not any of those that we just named, those options, then the last option is hoping you just keep getting better. And it's what we're talking about. Bart Scott, I didn't have time to clip it, but Bart Scott was talking about it. And he said something similar to what we've heard before. He said, if you want to weaken another person's another team, you raid their coaching staff. And he went through all the losses that they've had on the defensive side as we have. And he said there just aren't enough teachers in there. He was like, last year they had so many fantastic teachers of where to be and when, and what the rules are of, when to do this or when to do that. And he's just like, they just don't have the teachers, which is why they brought in Dean Pease. They needed more teachers.
Yeah.
And maybe that was, John Harbaugh's mistake. One time he went with the young gun in Mike McDonald, but he also had 4 veteran coaches supporting him. And so he went with the young gun again, but this time there was no supporting staff, although I think he thought, who was going to stay? Was it Weaver? So one of those guys was going to stay.
Weaver, Dennard.
Yeah.
I think it actually might have been Weaver. I think he was the last to go, wasn't he? Weaver.
Yeah.
No, who knows how the order was.
But those are the options. Tre'Davious White, maybe enough to move a corner over, or you bring in one of the young guys, your 7th rounder or your undrafted safety, or you stick to this and just keep trying to get better. And Marcus Williams just staying where he needs to be. Don't jump anything. Don't try to be the hero. Just do your job and then become this bend but don't break kind of defense, which you obviously would take over Jamar Chase and all these long touchdowns in, a blink of an eye.
Tell you what, Dean Pease didn't look like too happy of a camper when the Amazon Prime cameras caught him up in that defensive booth for the Ravens. He was not happy.
I didn't see that.